Have you ever felt like you have potential, but your life just isn't moving forward? You know you're capable of more. You think about it all the time, but no matter how much you plan, analyze, or prepare, you still feel stuck. It's frustrating. And over time, it starts to feel like something is wrong with you. But what if that's not true? What if the reason you feel stuck is actually because of how your mind works? Not a lack of discipline, not a lack of intelligence, but the way you think. Most people struggle because they don't see enough options. But if you think deeply, you often have the opposite problem. You see too many possibilities, too many paths, too many directions, too many ways things could go wrong or right. And when everything seems possible, it becomes incredibly difficult to choose anything at all. So instead of moving forward, you stay in place. Not because you're incapable, but because you're overwhelmed. You don't just make decisions, you analyze them, you think about the long-term consequences, the risks, the trade-offs. You run through scenarios in your head, trying to find the best possible move. But the more you think, the harder it becomes to act because every decision starts to feel heavy, important, permanent, and that pressure slows you down. Sometimes it stops you completely. If you can clearly imagine the ideal outcome, it becomes difficult to accept anything less. You don't just want to start. You want to start the right way. You want it to be good, to be meaningful, to be worth the effort. So you wait, you prepare, you think, you plan. But starting imperfectly feels uncomfortable, and that discomfort delays action until days turn into weeks and weeks turn into months. Your brain is constantly evaluating effort versus reward. And if something feels like it will take a long time with no immediate payoff, it becomes hard to stay motivated, especially if you're used to thinking ahead, because long-term goals don't feel real in the moment. They're distant, abstract. So your brain looks for something more engaging, something more immediate. And suddenly, the thing you should be doing feels harder than it actually is. Thinking takes energy, a lot more than most people realize. If your mind is constantly analyzing, questioning, and reflecting, you're using up mental energy all day long, even if you're not doing anything physical. So when it's time to actually take action, you feel drained. Simple tasks feel heavier, harder, and your brain resists, not because you're lazy, but because it's trying to conserve energy. You understand how much time and effort things require, and because of that, you don't want to invest in something that might not pay off. So you hesitate, you wait for certainty, you wait for the right moment. But that moment rarely comes, because most meaningful things in life come with uncertainty. The truth is, feeling stuck doesn't mean you lack ability. It often means your mind is working overtime. You're thinking deeply, analyzing carefully, trying to make the right move. But progress doesn't come from perfect decisions. It comes from movement, from action, from starting, even when things aren't clear. So if you feel stuck, it might not be because you're doing too little. It might be because you're thinking too much. And sometimes the way forward isn't to think more. It's to begin.